shift a little bit here, right? Is it okay?
Fine.
Yeah, hello everyone. So this is Jai. Sorry. Hello, yeah. So this is Jai. So here in InMobi, I lead the framework and AOSP and system UI team. So today we would be scratching surface what is AOSP and how the AOSP looks like, what is the difference between Gradle, the normal apps that you guys have been working on, right? And what is the difference between the system apps, how you can build those system apps, because you have been building Gradle apps. So Gradle is totally different, build system as compared to the AOSP world, right? And then after that, we would be having some kind of hands-on where I would tell you how you can clone the code, build the code, and then how you can contribute to AOSP community. Because sometimes we need to do it, right? Because it's not like that we are just developing. Let's say in Glance, we have to have some API in ExoPlayer to improve the video streaming, right? So what if why to wait for Google, right, to release that particular API? What if we just introduce the API by ourselves, contribute to the AOSP? What if someone from Jio Hotstar is also waiting for it, right, for the same API to improve in the ExoPlayer, right? So those kind of stuff, I'll urge you guys that after this talk, I think you will be able to start contributing to AOSP, Android community. So first of all, obviously, what is AOSP? So as Rajesh mentioned, it's the full form is Android Open Source Project, right? So it's like Google is providing the Android open source, the whole Android OS code, so that OEMs like Samsung, Xiaomi, Realme can make a good, beautiful UI out of it, right? So and then all of you guys are just whatever you guys have. If you guys have Android device, so you guys have a fork of the real AOSP onto which some OEM has just made a flavor out of it, right? So the kernel level, the framework level, we will discuss in the detail in the coming slides, are kind of same. And on top of it, someone is just changing UI, right? So that's why all of your Android apps, even if you are like developing on only for Xiaomi, doesn't mean that it will not work on Realme, right? Because the core layer is same, right? So basically, majorly in AOSP we have three layers, but in the whole stack we have 6 layers, right? So 4 layers and this one, and so basically you can say 4 major layers with this one, these 2 layers, which will be kind of native C++ libraries to support OpenGL, WebKit, and other stuff, right? So going from the bottom layer, the most important layer obviously, which is talking to the hardware directly, right? So all these code will be present in the AOSP. Once you have kernels established, now your normal Java code or Android code, right, should have some kind of middleman who can talk, who can listen, who can understand the kernel level code, right? So there comes hardware abstraction layer, HL layer, right? So and skipping these 2 special layers, then Java API framework is nothing but whatever you guys are using. For example, you are opening an activity, context.start activity, right? So that is nothing but some API framework that Google has given, and you are using it. You are using some camera API, you are using some ExoPlayer API, Media Player API, right? So those kind of all the stuff will be on the Java API framework. Now, as I just mentioned, camera, right? So camera is a hardware. So this code will go directly talk to HL layer, and then HL will directly talk to kernel, right? So that's how all the layers will get established. Majorly, we all as developers are working on the topmost layer, right? Either you are a system app developer, maybe if someone is from like Samsung or OnePlus or whatever, so he would be working on, let's say, dialer, calendar of that particular OEM, right? Or let's say you are working on the normal apps like PhonePe, Instagram, right? So those are just the normal layers. The difference between system apps and the normal apps which goes on Play Store is you can't access the hidden APIs. For example, the basic example that everyone will know is package user stats. Matlab, you can't read the different the different package, right? So you can have all the access to your package, but you can't access the other package. So those kind of apps, those kind of things are present on the system app, right? For example, your calendar. Calendar can sync all the data. Calendar can sync the invites from Microsoft Teams. Calendar can sync the invites from some other apps as well, right? So how is it able to do? Because with some content provider hidden APIs, it is able to take the data from all the apps, right? Things like that. So given now you know what is AOSP, right? Now we will go to the source directory, how Google is managing the code, how the code will look like. In the hands-on section, I'll tell you how, like in real life, in real as well. So basically, this is the core Android directory tree. Once you clone the code, this will be, this is the whole code. This code is almost 80 to 90 GB without compiling. Like after compiling, it will go up to 280 GB. And if you have the vendor OEM code as well, right? So it can go up to 500 GB as well. So that's why we have this sophisticated build system that we'll talk about. That is called Soong. You must have heard Bazel as well, right? So Bazel is nothing but a wrapper around Soong, so that it's like more fast, because Soong will take almost like 1 hour or 2 hours to build. Bazel is super fast. So that is something new that Google is trying to roll out slowly. So in Android 16, 50% of code is on Soong, 50% code, maybe 50% is on Bazel. So Google is trying to shift on Bazel, which is more fast, because the code is becoming huge day by day, right? So so basically these are some basic folders. So as I mentioned in the previous slide, that if you want to contribute to, let's say, kernel level, right? So you can just go to this kernel folder. You will have some files. You read about it. You read the documentations from the ch.android.com and all, and then you can start working on kernel. Let's say you have to work on some pre-built apps, for example, Dialer, Calendar, or Files app, right? So you can just go to packages, apps. You will have all the apps here, right? Let's say you want to work on framework. As I mentioned, right? Let's say you have to change some transition on activity. That, okay, whenever I call context.start activity, some good transition should happen instead of just normal transition, which is like coming from the center, right? So I'll go like this, whatever. So you can just code that in framework base and the activity manager package, right? Things like that. This is the build system that I was talking about. This is that HAL, the hardware abstraction layer that I was talking about. So if someone knows C++ and assembly language, right? That then he can contribute to hardware layer as well. Those stuff. So now I think you have a little bit feel how the code looks like. There is no build.gradle here. There is no those stuff that you guys see every day, right? There is nothing here. So this is something. You are building the OS itself, in which there are multiple apps. There are multiple layers, as I mentioned, right? So we'll check the real building as well. Now this is the core summarization of the whole talk. What is the difference? What is the difference between the app? Let's say someone is working on Instagram, right? Or you guys must be working on your apps in your company. And what is the app? What is the difference between the dialer app? What is the difference between a dialer app and an Instagram or PhonePe, right? Or let's say System UI itself, right? System UI is nothing but, you guys know, right? System UI is a lock screen app. The lock screen that you see, clock and fingerprint sensor and all, that is nothing but a System UI, which is a framework app, right? So what is the difference? The biggest difference is the build system itself. You can't build the system apps standalone, just like your normal Play Store apps that you guys are working on, right? You need the whole a sophisticated build system called Soong. Why? Because Gradle app max to max can go up to 250 MB or 300 MB. If someone like 300 MB of app means you are not a good coder, right? So it's like less than 200 MB, 100 MB. But this whole system code, the framework code itself is 80 GB without compiling, right? So after compiling, as I mentioned, it can go up to 250, 300 GB, right? So Gradle cannot handle it. Gradle was made for small apps, like for quick turnaround. Because Soong you need to build the whole AOSP system even if you're changing just a single line of code, right? So so Soong is some kind of a wrapper on Make Maven, which you guys used to do, right, for in your college for C++ programs, Make, right? So it is a wrapper on top of that Make, C++ Make, to build the AOSP code, AOSP the whole AOSP build tree. So, and Gradle you guys already know. So you can say that Soong is a Gradle, like a build system just like Gradle for AOSP, nothing else, right? And obviously Soong needs the full AOSP source. So yeah, obviously that's why it is niche and many people don't know about it, right? Because of the logistics and the, what do you say, the huge costing stuff, right? So now, just to get you more feel how the code will look like of a system app. So this is nothing but a normal app that you guys are working on, which has build.gradle, app level build.gradle. Then you have Android manifest in the SRC folder, right? You guys know about it, the left part, right? You have the Gradle W script, you have settings.gradle, and then you have project level build.gradle, right? So left part, everyone know about it. Everyone can change anything if I say something, and they can build it. So for example, let's say I ask you to add some lib, a third-party library. So you just add in the libs folder and then mention it in the build.gradle, and then you are done, right? This is a sample, any sample system app, let's call it system UI or dialer or whatever. So if you see, there is no build.gradle here, right? So in the Soong world, or you can say in the AOSP world, there is no build.gradle. They have blueprint files. So that is called android.bp file. So it has it is some kind of a JSON kind of a syntax where you have, what you say, all the dependencies that you want, all the libraries that you want, all the hidden APIs as I was mentioning, right, that you want to use, etc. All the pre-built APIs as well. How you want to sign the app, just like build.gradle, right? Whatever we mentioned in the build.gradle, you need to learn android.bp, how to read and write android.bp. There are many tutorials. Google has their own tutorials that you can just read about it. In the hands-on section, I can just show you how this android.bp looks like, so that you can get more feel about it, right? So Android manifest is not in the SRC. This is outside because android.bp works that way. And SRC is nothing but the same SRC in that sense. REST folder is also outside. And then whatever libs folder, AIDL tests, etc. folders will be like outside, because it's like some kind of a XML or JSON kind of a syntax where it will read outside, like it can't read in such a way, right? So that's how your sample system app will look like. Any app you would contribute to, or any app that you will build in future. So this will look like this. So now, given you know basic stuff, now I would want you to tell you how you can contribute, right? Because theoretically you know all this stuff, but how you can contribute. So to contribute, obviously you need the whole code, correct? So normal Gradle code itself needs a good processor. Normal Android Studio itself needs a good processor and like 16 GB of RAM and whatever, right? So your laptop should have obviously good processor, first of all, and these are the two minimum requirements apart from the processor, which is 250 GB at least free, where you will like prune the code so that it can like shrink to 250 GB, otherwise as I mentioned it can go up to 400 GB. The second thing is RAM. If you have these two things, you can build it locally as well in your laptop, and you can just code normally. Otherwise, you can use some AWS free tier machine, right? You can use GCP free tier machine. If you are building AOSP on GCP, Google gives you $300 credits, which will be around 90 days of free, super good machine, right? So you can maybe take that just to see how you can contribute, right? So I'll show you the demo via the GCP machine itself for now, and you can scan this QR code. It will have it is nothing but a Bible basically. It's a Medium link where you can from cloning to building to all the doubts that you will have till you do something. You will have everything in this QR code. So I'll just wait for you to take photo of this and then I'll start
one question. Will you be sharing this PPT later on or?
I don't yeah, we will share it. Yeah, we'll share it. Yeah.
All the PPTs and all the docs that the speakers are sharing here will be shared.
Yeah. So if you have taken the photo, because I'll be walking you through this article as well. So maybe you can just see, okay, he's saying this, because I'll not be walking you through every line by line, right? So can you just take this? So I'll just do this. So that was that QR link that I was talking about. Is it okay? Okay.
Fine.
Yeah. So that was that QR link that I was talking about. Now, if you see, you need to first get a, let's say, a virtual machine or a laptop. Then you need to set up the environment, right? So these are the code. So I'll not obviously run these commands because I already set up my VM. So these are the commands. As soon as you do it, your AOSP build environment is set up, right? After that, you create the directory here. The directory or anything, obviously you need to create, right? Where you will clone the whole code. Now, what is repo? You must have seen repo for the first time, maybe. So repo is nothing but a wrapper around Git that Google created. Why? Because as I mentioned, right, Git, Gradle, these kind of normal stuff can't handle 80 GB of code, right? If you do Git push, it will not work, right? So they created a wrapper around it, which is called repo. Repo is nothing but Git, as I mentioned. So repo in it is nothing but Git in it, right? So repo in it with -u, the URL of the Google code, and -b, which means branch of the Google's code, right? So generally, it's like you can just copy this. If you want to clone Android 15, just make this 16 to 15 and just use this command, right? Then repo sync. Repo sync will take almost, in a super machine as well, it takes like 30 minutes. For a normal machine, it can take like 3 to 4 hours. So obviously, I will not do this. But once you do this repo sync is nothing but git clone. So if you clone the code and if you clone your legacy GitHub repo in your company, right? It also takes like 7-8 minutes. It can take 7-8 minutes, right? So it will take like almost 1 hour or whatever. So in our company, we have very good machines, obviously, because we always and we do this work every single day, right? So this is some kind of this thing will be there where it's like downloading all the repos and everything. Once it is, so it got completed for me in 21 minutes, right? So whatever the time it will take, so it will look like this. Once repo sync is done, now you're ready to write the code. If you know already the AOSP, you can write the code, or as I mentioned, if you want to do something in system UI, just go to packages, framework based packages. I'll show you, and then just write the code and push it. Like it's easy as that, right? So how to build it? Or again, you have to set up the environment, right? So to set up the environment, you just do source build env setup.sh. This build is the folder that AOSP already gives you to set up all the environment that you need to run the make command, right? That you will do later. Lunch is nothing but so me and Rajesh were discussing in morning. What if someone asks why Google made this command name as lunch, right? So why it made it? Because it is just like a menu that Google is telling you, right? What is the menu that built it for AOSP ARM64, AOSP x86, Pixel 7a, Pixel 8a, Pixel this, Pixel that, whatever, right? So it's a menu that Google is telling you, ki bhai, I can make lunch for you for this menu, right? So this is one menu, this is my today's platter, let's say, and I'm ordering this. So lunch and that thing, right? Once you do this, now your menu, Google will deliver it to you. As soon as you do make, right? Ignore this variable, like you can just do make as well. But as soon as you do make, your menu or your dish will be made, right? So this is make. Like that's how it's easy to understand. So once you're done this, now you have this code. Then I'll not obviously do the flashing and all. So, but you can just go to the document and you will be able to flash the device with these two images that got generated, right? So now the second question comes, if you have understood this and let's say assuming that you have cloned this code, right? How to contribute, that I have not told you till now, right? So now we will go to this thing. So to contribute to AOSP, the first and foremost thing that you need to do is you have to sign some agreement, right? Which says that you will not write code to hack something, you will not write code to listen to mic every 24 hours, things like that, right? So you need to sign this. So this is also very important. These links would be very important for you guys. The first link will look like something like this. So it is like I already signed it. So you will get something here called I accept. Once you accept it, then it is accepted, right? So yeah, so this is that link. And after that, you would need to have, obviously you need to create account on Gerrit, right? So this is the Gerrit link. So android-review.googlesource.com. How this will look like? This will look something like your own like in your company Gerrit or GitHub and whatever. So Gerrit is also a wrapper around GitHub, right? Because again, Gerrit, normal GitHub can't handle 100 GB of code. So Gerrit is like Google has created some wrapper around GitHub, and this is that one, right? So once you have created this account, the last thing that you have to do is you have to set up your machine, like the config values of this in your machine, right? So that command you already know, git config username, git config user.email. Now here that SSH, so what you guys do in GitHub, you guys, as soon as you do this, you have SSH key. You can copy that SSH key to your GitHub and it will work. Here it is not like that. There is no SSH key kind of concept. You need to go to settings. You need to go to settings here. Then you need to go to HTTP credentials, because only HTTP push works. SSH push does not work with Google Source. So you need to click here. Then you need to click obtain password. I will not click because it is a token that will change, so I will not be able to give demo. I can give, but it will be like longer. So as soon as you do this, you will get a shell script like that you can copy. So you will copy that. How that will look like, I will show you. So I am logging to my GCP machine. So I am logging into my GCP machine here. Now where all the code is already present. So if you see, the code looks like this. So that's what we were discussing, right? That it has all the folders, Bionic folder that I told you for C++. It has kernel folder, it has hardware folder, it has framework folder, right? So this is that code that I was talking about. So
can you increase the font size?
Yeah. Is it okay? Yeah. So as I mentioned, it has all the folders: ART folder, Bionic folder, framework folder, and kernel folder, packages folder, and vendor folder, for example, right? So vendor folder is that folder where Xiaomi and Samsung codes, and they code it, and then they call their respective whatever APIs and all, and then they ship it, right? So this is that thing. So once you do this, how that will look like? So that that shell script will look like this. As soon as you click on that obtain password, this will be there. You just run this command, sh password.sh, like create a shell script, copy it, vi password.sh, copy it, and then sh password.sh. So in your some .git folder, they will save the password, the token that will be used for pushing the code. So now you have password as well. Now since you have password, you have already set this config as well. So now the last thing that you have to do is check out the branch, check out the code, and do whatever you want to do, and then push. Now since Git is not there, repo is there, so the replacement of Git push is repo upload, and the folder that you have to, in the folder that you are working on. So for this demo right now, I'll go to issue tracker, the third one. So there are two types of contributions that you can do to Android community. The first one is solving bugs that are already raised by someone, right? The Jira of Google, and contribute to a new requirement. For example, in Exoplayer you need some caching mechanism. So code it and push it. If the developers and the reviewer of Exoplayer will approve it, then no problem. You have done something for Android community, right? So obviously I can't do it in the demo. So I'll try to solve some bug that I've already kind of found out one bug, which I'll just do this. So which is this bug. So I found this bug. So it says system crash when pressing volume buttons. Why I chose this, and you guys also choose those bugs which has many duplicates, because so you also choose those bugs which has many duplicates and many hotlists. Hotlist is nothing but many people are facing this. So like 7 people are impacted here. The same bug I found one more time where 4 people are impacted, which means crores of users would be impacted, because no one, you guys as an Android developer didn't even reported one bug till today, right? So 7 plus 4, like 14 people have reported, which means this crash is very, very important to fix, right? Anyways, it's P2. Why someone has made it P2? Because it is already fixed in the latest Android version. But just for the sake of it was in beta, QPR beta, Android 16 QPR beta. When Android 16 was not released, it was like people were developing, right? So yeah, you will find this thing. Then if you go down, just like a normal Jira, you will find what happened and other stuff, the description and all. Then you can just download this bug report. Once you download this bug report, you can obviously try to find the crash and try to fix it. So I've already downloaded it. So yeah, so sorry. So this when you will unzip this folder, this zip that we downloaded from there, it will look like this. Many of you might not know bug report. What is this bug report? But in developer options, in every Android phone, you can generate bug report, which has all the logs, because now it's not your app, right? Where you just go to logcat and do something. You need the whole AOSP logs. So that is bug report. So in Android developer option, there is an option called to generate bug report. It will have all the bug report, all the logs. It will have your app logs as well. So if we click on this bug report, and let's say if we try to find some exception. So finding exception, can anyone tell me how can I find some exception in a log? What should I search?
Level error.
No, level error is okay, but I should, basically the answer is we can search exception, right? Fatal. So that is the real thing, right? So if we search fatal, it's not zooming in. Okay, I can't zoom that search bar. So that is FATAL I have written, right? So if I search fatal in this, so I found this. I found the crash itself. And how can I say it's that crash only? Because it can have many fatals, right? So because it was written volume, when I click on volume, it's crashing. So just check as you guys do in your day-to-day life, right? So it's like volume dialog IMPL mein in get active row, index out of bounds exception is coming, right? So let's go to this file and fix it and then push the code, right? So yeah, so Where is this, right? So where we need to go? We need to go to system UI folder, then volume dialog IMPL, get active row, right? This get active row is function. So I'll just go in the code, right? Then I do ls-la, for example. Then I know obviously that you will be able to learn as soon as you do it. So I know already that it's a system. Where is the system UI located? What you can do, you can just do find -iname and just put that file, volume dialog IMPL. You'll go to that file. But since it is system UI, so I know where the system UI is located. So I'll just go to framework, base, packages, and then here it will be, I would be having system UI. So this is that system UI folder, right? So if you go to the system UI, right, and do ls. So if you see, this is the system UI ls, and that is that android.bp that I was talking about, right? So I'll just show you android.bp for your this thing. So android.bp will look something like this, where you will have, it's a JSON kind of structure. You will have the library tag where you can mention libraries, you can have other stuff, right? These are the test cases that they want to build. This is that Android library, whatever, right? So this is that thing. So we don't need to change anything in Android.bp. Now we will just go to src, then we will go to, what was that thing? com.android.volume.whatever, right? So we will go to system UI, then obviously volume, then what was this thing? After volume dialog IMPL. So I'll just go here, then I will find volume dialog IMPL. So I'll just go to, let's say, volume dialog IMPL, right? Now you would think, yeah, it's very hard. I can't code like this. I don't know VI. I am so used to Android Studio, right? So Google has a plugin called AOSP, Android whatever. I don't know full form, but I am because I don't use it, because we can't use it. Why? Because it's very slow and it does not support Mac. It only supports Linux, so and Windows. So Android Studio for platform, it is nothing but normal. It's to Android Studio plus some plugin where you can have studio facilities instead of VI, right? So you can use that if you have Windows and or Linux machine. But in Mac, they are not supporting. So that's what I'm doing in VI. So if we go to our terminal again, this is that getActiveRow method that I was talking about, right? I've already fixed it. So obviously, what was the error? Index out of bounds, which means if mrows is empty, then it will crash, right? So where is the phone? I'll just give you a little bit of what do you say? What is the where the crash was, right? So I'll just go anywhere and I'll show you the device. Okay, so actually I need to do this, but because session is getting longer. So this volume dialog you must have seen, right? Where these are rows: call, ring, notification, alarm, and media, where you can just drag, right? So what if from HAL layer, from HAL layer, hardware abstraction layer, where the call wala things and other stuff are present, what if the rows are null? Because the crash was only happening after reboot, so it may be some race condition. So HAL was not sending the data and it was crashing, right? So the rows was null, so we just added a check saying that if rows is null, then return null. There is no row, so at least it will not crash. It will show empty UI, but it's okay, right? So those, if the rows are null or empty, we will return null. This is the fix that we are doing, right? So once you do this, once you have done this, then what you can do, you can just go here later, like outside of the repo obviously, and then you can just do git status. Normally, as you must have done, right? So I have already fixed this, fixed this as in for the sake of demo. So do you want me to create a new branch, or shall I just push it? Because everyone knows, right, how to check out a branch: git checkout -b, then origin, then after git checkout, git add, and git commit. So these three I have already done. So if you see, after git commit, this you guys think, like you see, right, ahead of one commit. You just need to push. So now what we will do, so you need to push the whole folder. It's good practice. Otherwise you can push the single file as well. But as a good practice, because sometimes you must have also done mistake that you pushed only 3 files, forgot to push one file, right? So push whatever is the folder itself. So I'll just push repo upload. So what was that command? We'll just see that command, repo upload, right? And the folder. So repo upload, and then what was the folder? System use. As soon as I do this, it will just say, yeah, okay, you want to push, and so now it's saying, okay. So now I need to create again a new branch because now we need to go to this folder again. Then we need to fix it again. So let's say I'll just go here, I'll just copy this, let's say, and I'll paste it, right? So you need to learn the syntax as well. Syntax as in Google will only accept if curly braces are here. In some companies, they accept only code when curly braces are here in for loop and if conditions. But this is what Google follows. It should be here. So those kind of stuff you need to see. And if you are only if in your if condition there is only one line, right, then you don't need to have any brackets, right? So those kind of stuff you need to think and learn before contributing, before starting the contribution, right? So we have done it. Now we have the change, get status. Now we have the change, right? So now I have created a new branch for you guys because it was not letting me push. Now we have a change. Now we just do get add, get commit, my first commit, right? So don't push like this, get my first commit. You have to be very descriptive of your commit, otherwise no one will approve in Google, right? So get sorry, I missed minus m. So I'll just do this, right? Now I'll just do repo, upload, and then system view. So now it is asking me which branch you have to push. So by default, Google gives you a default branch. So we will just go to we will uncomment the first one, right? So we will uncomment the project that you have to push, and we will uncomment the branch, which means this one, right? This is what we created, right? Yeah. So now it will get pushed. Now it's checking that shell script that we created, right? Checking that. It's not pushing the whole 80 GB code, it's only pushing the system A folder, which is let's say 70 MB. So now it's pushed. There are two ways to go to your commit. Either copy this and paste it on your URL, or you have already logged in, right? So if you go here and click on settings, right? Just click on this, you will have your commit here. This is your first commit. So now how to get it approved and all, right? So just click on this first commit. Then they have integrated AI or something here as well. So you will have who is the code owner of this by default. So you can just go here, click on reviewers, right, and suggest owners. It will suggest you the owners. talk to them. They will, if it is really a real bug that you are solving, right, they'll approve and you can merge it. So I'll just show you some random PR of my last year. So it will be like normal to and fro, like they will ask some questions, why are you doing this? I think the real root cause is something else, you are doing something else, vagera vagera, and then once you have +2, you have done your first contribution, right? So yeah, that's it. So I think everyone should contribute. As I mentioned, many times we just think ki, yeah, Google should release this, Google should have this API, Google should do this, Google should do that, right? But what if you do it? Why to wait for Google? That's why Google has made something open source, right? That's what this talk about. Ki matlab everyone should contribute, ideally. So yeah, any questions?
So one question here ki Git.
Mike?
I think it's fine.
Just for the cameras.
Yeah.
Just press it.
Yeah. So I saw that you were using Git command itself, but just to interact with the open source there, we use
Correct.
repo.
Absolutely. So because as I mentioned, you can't push 150 GB of code via Git. So it's like just only that. When I was syncing the code, Git clone, so I had repo sync, the counterpart of Git clone, right? But Git add, Git commit is like very easy. So that's why they didn't create any wrapper around it. So yeah.
So now to basically interact, to use Git, we need to install Git.
Yep.
So for repo, there is anything else?
Yes, you need to install repo. So if you Google it, you will find a shell script. And if you follow that document that I gave, it already has all the commands. You just run those commands blindly. You will have everything set up. But yeah, repo is just as you install Git, sudo apt install Git or whatever, you have to do repo as well.
Thank you.
Repo is a tool that.
Hello. Yeah, so is it on?
Yeah, it's on.
It's on.
Check.
Yeah. So you mentioned like we just cloned the repo from the like AOSP original source, but when we are pushing the code, like do we need to set our remote branch, like what all those configurations?
Yeah,
look like?
so Google says always push to AOSP/main. So that's why that's why I mentioned in the slide as well. There is no other branch that you focus for now. So let's say for kernel, they are using AOSP/kernel/main. So it's good that you push there itself, because in some other branch, what if there was a bug, but in AOSP/main they fixed it via some feature branch and they pushed it. So when you will do it here, fix it here, then you can say ki it's a bug that you have fixed. Because in a feature branch if you work, or in random branch, because it's like hundreds of branches, or not crore, but hundreds, thousands of branches will be there. You will be confused. So always take AOSP/main.
Yeah, but my question was like, do the repo, like my clone exists separately, or when I push to the same repo but with my branch?
Yeah. You push to the same repo with your branch.
So like everyone contributing to AOSP and who is pushing their branches, like all the branches are for the same repo.
Yeah, 100%. So it's like just pull request that you are creating, and you just, if your PR is merged, then it's merged. So you are pushing to the AOSP/main for your PR only.
Okay, so it's a fork.
Yeah, it's a fork, but only for that folder, system UI, like repo upload system UI /, not the whole 80 GB code.
Okay, so they might be internally, like, do they use internally like Git submodules? So you basically have.
No one knows.
Achha.
It's like Gerrit is not open source. So
Got it.
yeah, maybe, but ideally that's what I know is ki when you do repo upload and any folder name, they internally fork it and then do something and then your PR is ready.
Got it. I mean, yeah, for me it was confusing, like because nowhere I mentioned something related to my identification.
Yeah, makes sense. So that's why looks like it is a fork.
Yeah.
Looks like it is a fork internally. Yeah.
Got it.
Also one thing, in framework development, we can only use Java. We can't use Kotlin.
No, so there is nothing like Kotlin or Java. So system UI, because it's legacy code and
Okay.
developers, even because I interact with Google developers, right? They are very scared of moving Java code, which someone has written 15 years ago, right, to Kotlin. So if you see Dialer, they have moved the whole code to Kotlin because Dialer might be easy, or maybe that developer who started coding has not left Google. So he thought, okay, I know the old code, I'll write it. So
Okay.
it's like Kotlin will work, coroutines will work, but in system UI, coroutines might not work because they have not moved to the latest libraries. They are using Glide, for
Okay.
example.
Thank you.
So yeah.
So let's say if I decide to root my device and custom some feature on the system UI or any other system app, how is there any documentation in your blog how to flash it on my rooted device?
So for Pixel, the document only contains Pixel because I myself also tried like many other devices, and like the bricked rate, the breaking of the device rate is like 40%. So it's like your device will get bricked very easily because of that kernel layer that we are talking about, right? Because kernel mein agar if there is any API mismatch or something, because I don't know kernel, I can't even fix it, and the device will be bricked. So it's like you can try the same code, like because it's a GSI, because in my article it is mentioned GSI, matlab generic system image. Generic system image should work in
So
every
Pixel,
device.
it should work.
How
So
Pixel-
if I want to test, I need to test somewhere.
Yeah, so you can test on maybe
Pixel.
a Pixel hardware, or maybe you can do emulator. Just create a Pixel emulator and you can test there as well.
Okay, so the step to flash it on the emulators are there.
Yeah, yes, emulator as well as any Pixel device, not Motorola or Xiaomi or any other.
Thank you.
It's kind of like a follow-up to this question. I have a device which is rooted, and I am running a custom phone on it.
Which is not Pixel, right?
No, it's Nokia, old
Okay.
Nokia phone, and I was able to run Resurrection Remix ROM on it. Somehow internally we messed up the code, flipped the switch, everything became dark now. Like light became dark, dark became light, right?
Yeah.
So let's say if we want to push it or to the community, would Google be okay with having another separate ROM and kind of doing it, or like what are the repercussions if we were to do that?
For Nokia, right? For any non-Pixel device.
Non-Pixel device, yeah.
So it's like it's kind of banned in Google.
Oh, okay.
Why? Because you must have heard this new thing where on Play Store Google is banning the side loading, right? So they are just moving towards the non-hacking or whatever, those kind of environment, right? So if you ask someone on Google, right, you mail them, ki bhai, like in Nokia I've done something, can you please help, can you please give me that kernel file, right, that I miscoded. So they will say, buy a Pixel device and then enjoy, like that. So till Android 14 you could have done, 13 in fact, but after Android 14 they are very strict. Now it's like they have removed their proprietary code, like for example on-screen fingerprint. Those kind of stuff also they have removed because people used to kind of reverse engineer and do something, right? So they have removed many things. They have now, as I mentioned, right, side loading is getting banned very soon. So those kind of stuff they are doing. So Nokia, so they will not support.
Because we were messing around on Android 10.
Android 10 would.
That was like a super
Yeah,
novel.
Android 10 you could have done everything. Like, yeah, if Ankush's question was on Android 10, I would have said, yeah, you do it. It will work
Right.
on any device.
Very good actually.
Yeah. But now in 15 and 16 world, device bricks very easily. So yeah.
Thank you.
Hello. So the repo which you are showing, is it common for all the OEMs or is it specific to one OEM?
So since we are working with OEM, so I know the answer. So it's like for every OEM, like not for every OEM, for OEMs they have a like another repo. Let's say that is called AOSP/main -QBR2, which is a stable version of main, because main may anyone can code and you can also code, right, as I mentioned. So but that QBR2 is a stable cut on which OEM fork that particular branch and write their code. So it's not AOSP/main, it is something else.
And if one, if application developer wants to transition to the framework, since there are no much tutorials on this like AOSP, do you suggest anything like how do we get exposure more on this?
I would say buy a Pixel device and then take, let's say, some app that you want to customize or do something. Let's say dialer, right, as I mentioned. Because dialer is kind of easy to learn, right? So just go to dialer. It's easy to check the package name of that particular screen, that particular activity. Find -i name will be your main command when you're learning. Find that particular file. Let's say crash that file. Because if you introduce a crash, you will have the whole stack trace, right? And then learn, okay, when I click the dialer button, okay, it went there, it went there, it went there. Now this particular activity is crashing. So now I can like backtrack. Then you write the code, then you read the code, then maybe do whatever, right? So when me and even Gaurav started my career, our career, we used to do this. I created OS called Jai OS, right? Where in Android, so the first screen is Android, right? Powered by Android. So I just renamed Android to Jai, powered by Jai, like that, right? So then I got to know, oh, okay, that's how bootloader.img is created. So that is not system image, that is a bootloader image in which that image is present, right? Those kind of stuff you will get to know when you do it. That's why this talk is all about. You have to do it. You can't just write code and think that it will work. You have to do it like that. So
one last question, how much AI you are implementing in your framework? Is it helpful for you or?
AI I am using to boost my productivity. I am not using AI in, you can't use AI in system UI. I can't use AI in framework, but I am using AI to boost my productivity. Why? Sorry, not why, how? Let's say there is a file that I also don't know because Google introduced in Android 16, right? So I just give my co-pilot in ASFP or wherever that it was the previous code, now Google has moved to this code, I'm not able to understand. Can you please explain? Now, ChatGPT will not help you to understand the meaning of the code, but it will tell you the intent why it was ported. So you will say, okay, they are moving to coroutines from async task. That's why they created some kind of a flow or something. So that's how you can reduce. But AI in coding, in my day-to-day work, I'm just using for boosting my productivity.
Sure, thanks.
Guys, any more questions from
Any more
your side?
questions? So you can follow me on LinkedIn, and if someone, at least if one of you can start contributing to Android community, right? Because attending talks is not contribution, right? Attending these meetups and going home is not contribution to the community. I want someone, at least one person, to ping me on LinkedIn saying that I did this, now I am stuck, can you get me unlocked or whatever, right? So even if it's one person, right, then this meetup and this talk is good, right? So yeah, follow me on LinkedIn, myself Jai Goyal. So yeah.